Hey folks, and welcome to TK Power Sports. Today we're looking at something a little bit different. This is the Kubota RTV-XG850, a side-by-side clearly designed for hard work. Now you might know Kubota from the heavy equipment world or the world of tractors. Well, how does that translate over into building a side-by-side? We're going to find out right now. We're going to crawl all over this thing. I will show you all of the features and we'll talk about whether or not it's any good. Let's get into it. Let's start with the crucial numbers on this RTV. So Kubota lists the overall length here with the bumpers at 119.6 inches. Width comes in at 63.2 inches, while overall height is 79.5 inches. The wheelbase on this model measures at 80.5 inches, while the dry weight weighs in at 1,770 pounds. For capacities, this RTV can tow up to 2,000 pounds, while the overall payload capacity is 1,408 pounds, but you can only put 1,000 pounds into the bed of this unit. Looking at the engine, this RTV uses a twin-cylinder 851cc power plant. Now it's putting out 54 horsepower and 48.7 pound-feet of torque, and that is all sent through a CVT. Now Kubota calls this the CVT Plus, and essentially what that means is that they have constant belt tension, which is going to help you on those downhills, especially if you're hauling weight, to make sure this thing doesn't just freewheel. Now the unit we're looking at today also has the Rancher package added onto it, and here's what that consists of. Going for the package includes soft grip handles, a rear view mirror and side view mirror kit, a plastic bumper, a bush guard, and a rear bumper. You're getting rear mud flaps and front mud guards, that flip down windshield, a polycarbonate rear panel with a little vent, the sport roof, the RTV bed extender, and the cargo bed rail, a worn 3,500 pound winch up front, and of course that cool Rancher badge. Let's walk around and now and look at all of these features. I do like all those things that come along with the Rancher package. This thing isn't cheap, but we will get to the price later on. For now, let's just look at everything here. This huge bumper up here, love that. And you get the plastic guard sort of on top of your steel rails. That's gonna make sure that everything is protected. And if you are in brush with, lots of little sticks or anything, nothing's gonna get through here to poke up into your grill. I appreciate that. Down here, we get this nice steel bash plate to cover up your winch. You can also take that off to get access. And then nice to have the worn winch, of course. That's always helpful. Now, let me show you underneath the hood. Very much an automotive style hood, and there's even a gas assist shock, so that thing just pops right up. I love this for access if you're coming in here to do maintenance, access to your cooling system, brake fluid, all your wiring up here for your winch and other accessories. Yeah, this sort of thing to me is an obvious nod to the fact that Kubota thinks that its owners are going to be doing their own maintenance, so they want to make it easy to access. So rolling back, we get a set of just 25-inch tires. So yeah, not the biggest set of tires here. Behind them, the suspension, very typical dual A-arms. In the front, you're getting 9 inches of travel. In the back, you're getting 8.5 inches of travel. And then overall ground clearance is just 9.4 inches. So again, not a ton of clearance, not a ton of travel, but that's not really what this machine is about. It's really about this back here, your dump bed. This thing is a work machine, and you can tell by the size of this bed and the fact that it's a steel bed with an actual bed liner material in here. Most of these utility side-by-sides still use some kind of plastic bed. This is a real steel bed. And yeah, like I said, just look at the size of that thing. It really is quite large. We're talking about an overall width here of 40.5 inches, overall length of 57.5 inches, and a depth of 11.4 inches. That's got to be one of the largest dump beds I've seen on a utility side-by-side. And then because we have the Rancher package, we get this bed extender. Now you can also set it in an up position like this if you want to make sure it's out of your way. It locks in, and then when you want to drop it down, you grab these little handles, like so, pop your pin out, and down it comes. And this just gives you that much more length. Now that's part of the Rancher package. So are these bars up here, but I like these to be able to tie down to. If you're hauling something really tall, you want these taller attachment points, and there are D-rings down there in all of the corners. And this is a dump bed, so I'll show you. You do have to unlatch at both sides. So I did the driver's side latch. Now the passenger side latch, and up it goes. And you do have a gas assist shock to help you lift it up. It's not a really robust shock, so if that thing's fully loaded, it's still gonna take some work. But yeah, beautiful to be able to dump, and that gives you access in here to your engine. There's your air breather right there, so if you need to change out your filters, that's really easy access as well. Now, one thing which I think is sort of annoying is down here is your fuel cap. The easiest way to fuel this thing is with the bed up. When the bed is down, it actually kind of gets in the way of that. So that's a little bit frustrating, especially if your bed is full of stuff and you need to add fuel. You can still get to it though. You might just want to buy a long funnel. Yeah, beautiful. So that's really it for outside this RTV. Let's hop in now and check out the interior. Let's look inside now and talk about some features. So we just get these little half doors, and you only have these latches on the interior of those guys. They do open nice and wide, right to about 90 degrees, so it doesn't get out of your way. Now before I sit in, let's talk storage, and first one I'll show you is under the seat here. I love having these storage bins down here. Very handy just to have more spots to toss your stuff. Any true work vehicle should utilize every inch of space for excess storage, and that's what's been done underneath the seat. Plus just a really easy fold. No problems there. Now before I get into, I'll show you some of these controls. So down here, you have your 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive switch, or handle I should say, right there. And over here is something interesting. That is your manual diff lock right there. So you actually step down on this to lock up your rear differential. Now there is a hold switch over here, which means that you can lock on that rear diff. You don't have to keep your foot on it, but sort of for an on-demand system, you can just stomp down, be locked, lift up, and you're unlocked. What's interesting to me is that we have the exact same foot-operated rear diff lock on our tractor, and that's just one of the features here that reminds me Kubota is approaching this segment just with a different mindset. The other thing here is I walk around and touch and feel everything. Everything feels strong, robust. They use steel in a lot of places where other manufacturers use plastic. So sure, this thing is heavy, but it just comes across as being really well built, maybe something more akin to a tractor than a typical side-by-side. So I'm climbing in now. Looking at the ergonomics, I stand at 6'2". I fit in here just fine. Loads of headroom, even if I had a helmet. It is a rather upright seating position, but that is fairly typical for utility side-by-sides. The seat backs are actually pretty nicely bolstered. You can sort of see the indents in them right here, so I appreciate that. Kind of stiff though. It's not really a soft seat, definitely a stiff seat. And like I said, upright, the other thing that comes across is just how upright the windshield is. The whole design of this thing is very upright and boxy. Some other utility side-by-sides have sort of raked everything back. This thing does not do that. So looking at the controls in front of me, steering wheel does tilt. So yeah, you can really get a different range of positions depending on your body size. Here's my shifter over here. We do have a low range, which is important. I have my winch control and my lights over here on my left-hand side. They've already pre-wired a space here for a winch controller. I appreciate that too. Not all side-by-sides have that sort of right from the factory. So if you want to stand outside of your machine and be controlling that winch, you can do that here. And then another feature I really love, we have a horn here. I'm a big believer in a horn on all of these machines. I really think all side-by-sides and ATVs should have a horn. Anything that can be flying down a trail and you need to let someone know you're coming, yeah, it's nice to have that. And that's, again, another feature where I think from more of a work-focused mindset, you want to have a horn because you're in a construction site, you're in a busy work area, and you got to let people know that you're there. So here's my key down here. I'll switch that on so you can see my small screen. It is small, but it is also pretty clear. It gives you all the information that you could need right there. And again, not right in front of the driver, but that's not a big deal to me. Now, other storage, I talked about under the seat. We also have cup holders up here, and then we have a glove box, which is a little bit low, but it's also quite deep, almost up to my elbow. And that's about it. I kind of wish there was maybe some more storage bins down here in front of the passenger in this lower dash area. A lot of other brands have sort of used this space down here for more bins and buckets, but they haven't done that here. Still, overall, this does feel sort of very work focused, and the real proof is going to be in, you know, how it hauls weight and how it handles with the trailer on the back. And we're not going to do that in this video. This is just the walk around, but we are going to do a full test here on the Kubota. We're actually going to compare it to a Can-Am Defender, so make sure you go check out that video here on the channel if you want to see how this thing actually works. I like the mirrors here as well. Now, these are part of the Rancher package, but I'm a big believer that all side-by-sides could use a mirror, especially utility side-by-sides with a dump bed. Yeah, a lot of the times you're backing in somewhere, so nice to have a great set of mirrors here on the sides and up in the middle. There's two features here that will help on a hot day too that I want to show you. First of all, a little vent back there in your polycarbonate rear windshield, and then more importantly, this front windshield, you undo these two rubber clips and it folds down, and then you can clip them back up and you get some open air, plus you still get the little half windshield, so nice to be able to get some airflow moving through your Kubota. So now I do need to hear from you. Drop into the comments, let me know all your thoughts on the Kubota RTV. I already said it, but don't forget to come back here to the channel when we compare this thing to a Can-Am Defender. And as always, while you're down there leaving me that comment, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of TK Powersports, and then come right back here to see what we're testing next. See ya.